Well, that's lovely. I mean, look, there'll be a bunch of screamers up here when you eventually come up for air or to do whatever you want to do. Hey! What are you doing? What are you doing, knackers? Don't be destroying my shit. Uh-oh. G'day, guys. My name's Josh. You can call me Jarwoodle, and welcome back once again to 7 Days to Die Alpha 17, where we are back in Jarwoodle Park to continue testing the zombie force field, the arrow slot force field that we accidentally stumbled upon, which actually seems like it has a lot of potential to do a bunch of cool stuff with. If you don't know how it works, please go watch the other videos where I explain it. I'm not going to go through too much of the tutorial for it in this episode, because this one is more focused on seeing if we can actually succeed in making some sort of protection for an underground base, rather. I did kind of give a bit of a crack at it when I first built this platform here, way back when. I tried to build some sort of way to access an underground area underneath here, but as soon as I built those that support column in the middle, or anything that touched the deck down here, as soon as I did that, the zombies saw that as an option and started trying to tunnel through. So I reckon there might, well, I'm hoping there might be a way to get it done. I don't know. I'm not super confident that I'm going to be able to get a solution to this, but I want to give it a red hot crack, and if we come up with some sort of solution, then that's pretty okay with me too. Even though I have an underground bunker entry point just here and a force field platform just next to it, I'm not going to touch or build up on or modify those ones in any way, even though I'm trying to make what is effectively both those bases just smoosh together, like the peanut butter and jelly, or as I would say, jam, because it's a jam, it's not a jelly. Jelly's like the wibbly wobbly stuff, not the stuff you put on toast. I'm trying to make a PB&J sandwich out of bases, and I'm hoping that it's going to work, but I'll clear out a space just over here to build something completely new from scratch, because that's kind of the rule of Jarwoodle Park. Once something has been built, once I've put out a video on one of the builds inside Jarwoodle Park, it stays as it was at the end of that episode, and that is why Jarwoodle Park has come to encompass so many different designs. So like, there's big ones, there's little ones, there's impressive ones, there's more Josh-sized ones, there's a lot of things out there, and they're all like an ongoing record, a growing record of everything I've done in this world. But I'm trying to think of what I'm actually going to do to get this base to work. I need to make some way that is going to stop the zombies from digging down to get to me in my underground base. And I'm kind of thinking back to when I fought the 700 horde, the day 700 zombie horde inside the underground bunker here, and they didn't take the open corridor down. They didn't take the driveway down to get to me. They chose to dig through several meters of dirt, which kind of makes sense considering the zombies have tractor scoops for hands and can dig ground like a rabid mole on steroids. So they dug their way all the way down here into this cavity here and then broke through the wall to get in. So it seems like my takeaway from that is that the zombies seem to go like across the top until they get above you and then dig straight down to try and get you. So they work in an L shape. They probably won't. I haven't seen them ever dig down first and then tunnel across. So I think if I can encompass my entire underground base, I mean, look, it's not going to be as big as this bad boy. This is, I love this base. My wonderful zoo and stuff down here. Sitting inside this lounge room with like trees and wildlife outside your windows is always super calming. But if I can make a reasonable sized base underneath that's fully encompassed by the force field platform or whatever, or trench or whatever big on top of it, if I can make it all encompassed inside that area, then hopefully that'll stop the zombies from getting on top of me and stop them from digging down. So that's kind of the idea that I'm working on to try and give you guys an idea of what's going on inside my head, as bad of a place as that is to be. So this is where I'm going to build it, and I think I should probably just dig a trench around the outside to start and then kind of work on it from there. I'm going to start with just a moat around the outside rather than like making this whole area a force field with the arrow slots. I'm just going to dig a little trench around the outside to start. And I've dug it one down because I could have gone up to the top here, but you can see there's a big jump between like the natural terrain and where that block would be, and I can't be bothered trying to like foolproof, zombie proof it so they don't get stuck on that and start beating on shit. So I'm going to dig it one down so they just kind of walk out over the top. And as always, you're going to build your support structure around the outside first before you start putting the arrow slots down, or else you're going to have some real issues with structural integrity and all your shit collapsing every couple of blocks you put down. So all the way around the outside like that. There's some arrow slots in the middle, and I'm hoping that'll give me enough space. I mean, that's a pretty bloody big room. But I'm thinking if I dig this down enough and make a room underneath, I'm curious if the zombies will still see like the ground underneath as whether the AI will still treat it the same as it did, or whether they'll understand that all the ground above me is now not natural terrain, and they'll try and dig their way down. So it's all very interesting. I have no idea how this is going to go, and we won't know until we start testing a bunch of different theories. I got a little bit overzealous, and I removed too much of the natural terrain, so I'm replacing this with just normal sand blocks, and I'm hoping that doesn't mess with them too much. All the ground underneath this is still like natural terrain, and if this messes with them too bad, then I'll just get rid of this again. But I want it to look like, I mean, just having kind of like a trench around the outside, and then having the entryway to the underground base in the middle. Because I'm more concerned about just keeping them outside. Like, if you kind of think of like the whole underground bunker as like one big chunk, like one big column of that whole area needs to be protected, I want to keep them outside of that. So I'm going to build my base inside this inner area here. It's not quite square, it's a bit of a rectangle, but that's alright. So I want to get all this back up to normal level so I can leave and come in and get my Jeep or bike and ride in, ride out without having to go over any sort of humps or bumps, nice and easily. And also like aesthetically wise, like having a big divot inside your trench kind of looks a bit silly. So I've got to fill all this back in. Once again, I'm really missing those fill tools. I really wish in Alpha 18 someone like mods in the ability to do those. Like, it's already in the game. I just need access to it. So someone please mod that and let me have all my fill tool and clear tools back and make my life that little bit easier, because this is going to take forever. See, that looks way better. Now it looks like an actual moat instead of just one big divot in the ground with some walls in the middle. So I'm going to put down my my arrow slots to get my force field going. Although, I'm just kind of looking at that now, and I'm starting to have a bit of an idea. If this is going to be a moat, what do you normally fill a moat with? You don't fill it with red shit, you normally fill it with blue. So, I mean, I can't actually get, like, a water texture and paint it on there, but I can get blue, kind of paint it all like this. Or is that going to look ridiculous? I mean, it's not quite as blue as I was hoping. What about that darker blue? Let's go, oh, that's purple. I mean, clearly, I'm pretty partial to purple. Maybe I do make this a purple moat. I mean, I've made it red all the other times, just kind of show off, like, where the killing area is, because you don't want to, you know, your blood to stain your nicely painted arrow slots. But maybe a purple moat. You know what? Yeah, fuck it. Let's treat myself a little bit. Let's give myself a little bit of purple. Yeah, no, that looks really good. I'm glad I went with the purple there. I like how my original intention was to paint it all blue to make it look like water, so it looks like an actual moat. But then as soon as the purple came out, as soon as I hovered over the little icon that made everything purple, the purple part of my brain went into overdrive, and I'm unable to resist. I'm unable to say no once the purple is out and about. I'm not even upset about it. It looks good. The moat is done, and I've only gone 3 wide for now, just to test it. I still need to dig out the whole like trench underneath. In fact, I should probably do that now before I get too carried away. But let's go all the way down to the corner like this, and there, into there. Press my Z key to open up the blue box, into there. There we go. I do see a lot of people still asking in the comments how I do all this kind of stuff. I've put like all the tools I use and the methods I use, like the most common ones, down in the description down below. So if you're curious, you can just go read down there, and there'll be a little bit of an explanation of how to do it, what it is, and how it works. So there we go. That is my blue box. Okay. Dynamic prefabs, clear selection. Right, there we go. Part 1 of the trench is done. Let's do that 4 more times. And then we have our force field. It's just that easy. I'm going to miss this when it's gone, because it's definitely going to get patched out in the Jawoodle Alpha 18 patch. It's not going to be called a Jawoodle Alpha 18 patch. We're all going to know it is a Jawoodle Alpha 18 patch. Down to there. I'm going to miss it when it's gone. I really am. That said, if any of the fun pimps are watching this, please feel free to send me an early copy of Alpha 18. I'll be more than happy to bring a free games tester for you and see if your new AI stands up to an Australian man with too much time on his hands. Now that I have the moat built, I need to do a quick test just to make sure that this is going to work as I hope it will, because there's no point me continuing the build if the first phase of it doesn't work. If I build the rest of the base on like a bad foundation, that's going to be a bad time for everyone. So let's get a couple of Chelsea's out here. There we are. Chelsea Cheerleader Feral. Is your AI on? It is on. That's the wrong button. I wanted this one. And get the pistol. Get all your attention. Oh, yep, no, they don't like it so far. Let's actually just go all the way up so we can see everything at once. So I can move around and see how they react to it. So if I stand over here, you're gonna come over this way. We're all just kind of staying on top of each other. I was trying to, like, starting to build down, dig down rather a little bit, which is a little bit annoying. What if I come over here? Can I draw you away? Oh, and they're through and they're under. Okay, well, what are they doing underneath then? What's happening down here? See, they don't like it. They don't like the middle bit. Maybe I need to make the trench 4 wide, because I thought that was going to work, but it turns out it didn't. Nothing like a little bit of trial and error. That's why we do these things. So we know coming into an actual survival world, when we've only got one shot to build it, and hopefully build it right, we've already done all the testing here to know what we have to do. Because otherwise, I mean, if I built all that in a survival world and it didn't work, that would be enough to dishearten me, and I'd just leave this to get taken over by nature again, and never build it ever again. So build it inside just a little bit more. Make sure you build the supports first, as always, all the way around. Then another layer of force field arrow slots, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that will work a little bit better than that time. I don't know. Maybe I'll try, and just like on the killing corridor, force field support over there, maybe the 4s will just like, they'll just decide they want to run straight across it. Who knows? We're about to find out though. The moat's slightly bigger, and hopefully it'll be slightly more successful than it was last time. Get a bunch more Chelseas out there, and get my gun, and please come over here, Chelsea, if you wouldn't mind. Do some more tests for me. What are you going to do this time? Oh, they're stopped. That's a good start. Are they beating on each other, or are they beating on the floor? They're trying to go down. So this is the thing. Oh, actually, okay, I kind of stopped there. What happens if I get my body, if I get you, and I just sink you into the deck, just like that, just disappear into the quicksand? What are you going to do now? Yeah, see, like, they're not doing the whole, like, squatting thing. Often when zombies try and dig, they'll, like, kneel down and actually, like, swing down on it. But they're just kind of, like, swinging randomly. I think they're getting stuck on each other more than anything else. And, like, that's just the closest block to them, so that's taking their hits. I don't know. But it's not working as perfectly as I was hoping it to, which is slowly just, like, diminishing my hope that I can get this to work. I didn't come into this with very high hopes, but what hopes I had are slowly getting petered away. For the life of me, I can't figure out what's actually wrong here. It's the same design as was worked, like, reliably on every other one. Maybe I'm missing one little thing. I could put the barbed wire down. In fact, I started to put the barbed wire down. But then I was kind of thinking about what the design's going to be in the future. And I'm really hoping to keep this as, like, an open, just kind of flat level defense mechanism. So that when you're rolling through the world on your bike or your Jeep or whatever, you can just drive up, park your bike, and then jump down into your bunker kind of thing. There's no need, like, you don't have any obstacles for you to overcome, just for the zombies to overcome. I want to make this as streamlined as possible. If I have to put the barbed wire in later to actually get it to work properly, I will. It'll kind of be annoying, but I'm kind of just working with the idea in my head right now, and I can make adjustments to it later. But the important thing is that the zombies don't run straight across. I don't see, like, a valid path across here, so they still get stuck on the outside, and I think maybe them getting grouped up together and taking swings at each other is more of an issue than actually trying to beat their way down to here. Because as soon as I get down here, they'll try to beat on the actual ground around the outside, rather than trying to beat down the support that I was standing on. So I'm going to go ahead and build the next layer of construction, which is, I'm going to need, what I'm going to need? I'm going to need some plates. Because I'm going to build myself, just like, I mean, you know, the POI that's just like the well kind of thing? Something similar to that. I'm going to build myself like a little outhouse with a trapdoor in the bottom that goes down to the underground bunker. For no other reason, other than I just think it'd look kind of cool. Oh boy, there we go. I built a tiny little shack, and I'm embarrassed to say how long it took me to actually build that thing. It took me longer to build that than it took me to build this freaking giant moat around it. But whatever, it is up now, and it is good to go. I've got a little hole in the middle, which I'm going to use to get down to the actual underground, down to where I'm trying to get to. Let's get this one and quickly put you. I need you to go across the gut there so I can actually walk in and out without stubbing my toe every bloody time. Ever walk down a corridor in the middle of the night and stub your toe on a door frame? It sucks several camel dicks. But anyway, that's there now. I can run in. Alright, so this is going to go straight down to the bunker. And I'm going to dig out a room, not too far down, but down far enough. Actually, hey, fuck it, I'll just go to bedrock. Who knows? I'm going to build a little room underneath just to see how they go. Because if I'm living at least lower than this main area here, so if I go at least like 4 down, then hopefully they'll be able to go into their digging mode and try and run across the top to get to me, but then get blocked by the force field. That's the idea, that's the hope, that's the dream, but I think we're about to have our dream shattered. So I know that in the very first episode when we were testing out the force field, when we first discovered it, we realized that if you put any sort of supports underneath or inside the area of the force field, then the zombies see that as a target and will try and dig down to get it. And I know that I'm breaking my own rule by building this thing down here, but I think that I need it, because if I want to build anything bigger than like this little shack up here, even though the shack does its job for now, it's not not meant to be big, it's not meant to be intrusive. It's just like a little thing out here that I can maybe like put a storage chest and my bike in to keep it out of the weather and stop it from rusting. Because if your bicycle gets rusted in the apocalypse, that's a bad time. But I'm going to build the supports down here to try and support that, because I'm building in a sand world, and we all know that sand just cannot support any sort of structural integrity. So if I have any chance of supporting this big load, we're not talking phrasing anymore, but if I have any chance of supporting the load of a building up the top, then I need to make sure that I have some supports underground. I can't believe I just said that. What a stupid way to phrase that. I did see some people talking in the comments that maybe the zombies wouldn't try and break their way down if the ladder or whatever I built underneath the force field didn't touch the ground. So I'm going to leave this a couple of blocks up. Like, I can still make that jump and get up onto the ladder just fine. But if that's not touching the deck, then maybe we'll be okay. I know I've already kind of ruined that by having the supports there, but if they still try and break in, I can get rid of the supports and then see how we go. And maybe it will work out just fine. So I'm going to leave the ladder just up a little bit and then just like leave... Oh, before I do that, actually, let's go up here. Let's get myself a... not that hatch. Let's get an iron hatch just because I like the look of it. And in here and put you... That way, I think, is the right way. Yes, it is. Good. See, sometimes I learn how to place them, but every other time I stuff it up and it's always going the wrong way. Put a torch at the back there to light it all up, and one on the front. Okay. Well, that looks pretty innocuous. I mean, to a survivor, you'd see that and go, oh, there's definitely something down there. But it's not big, it's not intrusive, it's not ugly. It just sits there and is protected by a big purple moat of awesome force field goodness. I'm going to put myself right down the bottom, right in the middle of this room, and hopefully run a test that's going to deem my design successful. I'm not hopeful at all. I don't think this is going to work out anywhere near as well as I probably could. But this is what I got to work with, so I want to see if we even get a chance of surviving this and the zombies don't break down and come down and destroy all of my hard work. So I'm just kind of letting them wander for a little bit, just to kind of space themselves out so they don't get grouped up and start beating on things. But it's also just happens to be a nice little demonstration about how this will protect you from wandering hordes. It'll even probably protect you from a screamer horde. In fact, you know what? Let's go spawn screamer horde, spawn... I can't remember. Oh, spawn scouts. That's the one. Spawn scouts. I've got the code to spawn in screamers. Spawn a scout in, bring in a screamer, just to see what they do. Because I want to know if there's a horde out here wandering towards my general position. I mean, it should, and it looks like it will, protect me from them actually fighting me. Can I spawn a wandering horde as well? Spawn wandering horde, I think it is. Yep, there we go. Wandering horde coming in as well. So let's quickly run that test, because that's something I've always been kind of curious about. Will it passively protect you from hordes coming in and trying to ruin your shops? They're going to come in from somewhere out here. I'm not sure where. They'll show up at some point, and then we'll know for certain. Here comes the screamer. What is she going to do? So she's trying to get to this point here where I'm standing. That is the point she is trying to make it to. And yeah, nope, she can't. Well, that's lovely. I mean, look, there'll be a bunch of screamers up here when you eventually come up for air or to do whatever you want to do. Hey! What are you doing? What are you doing, knackers? Don't be destroying my shit. Uh-oh. Okay, well, that doesn't bode well for the rest of this. Let's kill you and get all the other zombies' attention. Although, it's only really the one zombie. Yeah, they're breaking shit. Look at them. They know I'm downstairs. That's what I was worried about. Okay, you need to stop breaking all my stuff, please. Let's kill you. In fact, let's kill... all. Wait, is the horde coming in actually? I don't think so. Kill all. Yes, that was just the cheerleaders I killed then. Yeah, you can see a bunch of corpses everywhere now. The wandering horde at some point will probably show up, because I am curious about those ones, because they kind of cruise past where you're going, rather than the screamer who's literally trying to get to this point where I'm standing. The wandering horde just like makes a line through where you're standing, so it'll show up at some time. In the meantime, I might just go and destroy some of these supports, because I think that might be what's cooking me down here. I've waited a long time in-game. I sped up the speed so that a couple of hours have passed since I called in the horde. You can see I called it in, I'll just scroll up a little bit. Called it in here, and it spawned the wave, which was fine. And then it told me again that it was spawning a wandering horde, but it never actually showed. So I don't know, maybe at some point in the future, a wandering horde will just randomly show itself. I don't know what to expect, but I have destroyed everything downstairs. You can see now it's just me with my lonely torch with no friends and no hope and no nothing. Even the ladder that was coming down is now gone, so we can test out to see what's going to happen with the zombies now. Let's spawn another screamer and see how she goes. That's also, while I'm waiting for her to show up, quickly undo the damage that she caused. No, that's the wrong block. There we go. That one. Get my blocks back. I need you and I need you. You go. Oh, god damn it. Every time you go into a menu, it resets the... Oh, why is it red now? Why are you red? Why have you done this to me? You're not supposed to be red. You're supposed to be purple like the rest of them. Oh, everything's getting reset. It's just annoying me. But yeah, every time you go into a menu, then you have to reset your soul control, which I just can't really be bothered doing. There we go. That's purple again. Is that screamer showing up? It should be about now. Where are you, darling? Normally you make a ruckus when you show up, and I'd really like you to get here right now so I can see what happens. Here she comes. What's she gonna do this time? Let's get rid of the HUD so we can get like a full screen view. She stopped. She's curious. She's confused. She doesn't know what to do. And she took a swing. Damn it! Why? Why are you taking swings there? Why are you doing this to me? What happens if I move into a slightly different position? So control you. Can I control you again? Yeah, and run over here. What about on this side? Are you still going to try and break shit down? Oh. Yep. No, it doesn't want to do it. Doesn't want to do it. That's so annoying. That's so annoying. All right, well, I'll kill you because you now don't serve any purpose to me anymore. Wandering Hordes still nowhere to be found. How can I fix this? Like I said at the start, this may not actually have a solution. You may not actually be able to do it in this kind of sense, but a lot of people were asking me about it in the comments, so I knew I had to make a video. I was already going to. It was on my list of things I wanted to make. But other people were asking, I was asking, and now we have the answer. It may be a hard no. So there's one more idea I have that will hopefully work a little bit better, but it involves me having to destroy all of this. So it's going to go from looking nice and lovely to looking pretty bloody awful in just a second. It's going to go from like having actually some sort of substance and character to it to just being one big plane of arrow slots again. I'm going to build, hopefully, a bigger version of this and remove all the ground from the middle to hopefully make like one just big pit and I can just live in the pit. Because then I'm still technically underground, but all of like the extra stuff here that seems to mess with their AI a little bit, I'll be getting rid of. So it's just a big kind of hole in the ground that I can live in because apparently I'm a gopher now. But maybe I can build myself like a roof or something at the bottom of the hole. I don't know, but that's what I want to find out. So I have to delete all of this, which is kind of a shame because I just kind of like the way it looks, you know? It looks nice, you know, the little hut protected by a big sea of force field moat. As I talked about earlier, the rule is that will stay as it was. I'm going to build a new one, but mostly because that's just too big. That's just too big for me to try and hole out into a giant chasm to live into the bottom of it. It's just not going to work out how I want. Plus, trying to support all of the force field arrow slots from here right across the other side, it's just not going to happen. It's a recipe for disaster. If you're building something that big, I mean, you could, but it's just not something that I would do. So I'm going to build another one just kind of out here, just a little bit smaller, right about there. Should do. That's kind of close. That looks more like a square to me. All right, clear all of you. And we're just going to make a nice little one just out here, just something to test the theory. Can I just make a roof of arrow slots and then they just won't ever come down to me? If there's nothing in the middle for me to live inside of, if I just live at the bottom of a ditch, will that still mess with their AI? So this really is going to be like the last shot that I have to get this to work. I'm going to get it from here, and I'm going to dig it all the way down. So let's go down like, I don't know, how far do you reckon? Is that going to be far enough? That seems like far enough. All the way down to there. In fact, actually, before I do that, oh, because, I mean, you got to think about how you're going to get in and out of this place. Like, sure, I could dig a hole to bedrock, but how do you get out again? With, like, the other base entries and things, you could, like, build a ladder to get yourself back out again. But this one... oh, how are you going to do this, actually? What's the best way for this to work? You know what, the first thing I might do is I might just cut out like a middle bit, so that's about the middle there, I think. In fact, that's pretty fucking spot on. That's right in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to build that there. I'm going to get myself some hay bales, right? I'm going to get that, put you down here, go back down underneath, and hopefully, but I might need to dig this one deeper all the way across. So from there, all the way to there, if you please, clear selection, and just put a bunch of hay bales right smack bang right in the middle. So straight down there, and yep, right there will do. Boop, just like that. So you can run around on the top all you like, and then when you want to go home, drop down into that, and then maybe I leave like a pillar in the middle for a hay bale to stand on, but then still, how are you going to get out of here though? No, actually, you know what? No, that's bad. That was an idea from the comments talking about having hay bales underneath to drop down onto, but you can't get out again. So I'm going to go back to the original idea, and that is to go from there all the way down to the bottom, and then I'm going to try that ladder idea again. So like having a ladder that comes down almost all the way, doesn't quite touch the bottom, and so you can use that to get in and out of, but hopefully the zombies won't see it as an option. So let's get that, and I'm going to leave it just as arrow slits at the top. It's not going to look super attractive, but for the moment, we just want to see if we can find something that's going to work. So all the way down, just like this to... oh, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Damn it. Okay, how far can I actually make this go? To like maybe there? Wait, was it one more? Yeah, okay, so I really should have kept count of that. So just to about there. I keep doing it. So this is what I'm gonna roll with. I've got like a scaffolding down here just to kind of get up and out again. It's not like super homely, but whatever. But once again, nothing up there is touching the ground. There's nothing there at all. So you can still jump up and get out, and hopefully that will work. But the first test of that is going to be not me being down in the bottom of the pit. It's going to be me up the top up here. I'm getting very, very hot and toasty in the sun. Get my insta-death pistol so I can get some zombies' attention and spawn a bunch of them. I just realized that wandering horde still hasn't shown up. It's been a long time, and no wandering horde has come for me yet. Alright, what are you gonna do, Chels? It's a smaller area. It's definitely more your forte. We know this usually works. I stood too close to the sun and I got burned. Okay, alright. So, maybe not standing right there. However, props to them. They saw the opportunity and they took it. This might have to be the last test because I can't think of any other way to get this to work. Like, at some point, it's better get down here and stay safe. But as soon as you do, apparently it breaks the arrow slot force field effect, and then they can just get through and come and break their way down. So I am now sitting down there under the scaffolding. They're up the very, very top. Let's see how this goes. AI on, shoot, they're gonna get their attention. Oh, yeah, now see, that's what I was talking about before. Now they're proper digging. Like before, they were just taking swings and accidentally almost hurting the arrow slots, but look at this. They're on their knees. They're begging to get to me. They're coming down for me. There's nothing I can do about it. Alright, that doesn't work either. Let's maybe get rid of all of this crap in here and see if me just standing down below still ruins their AI. Because if me just being down here by myself still breaks it, then there's really nothing to be done. And it's kind of game over, Red Rover. No, that's too high. So there. Get rid of you like that. Is that all of them? I think it might be like... Oh, I pressed the wrong button every freaking time. One ladder left over. Couple ladders left over. Get rid of you guys. Replace that with one of these back in its rightful place. Copy that and put it there. Alright, let's murder all these Chelseas and try it again. This really is the last chance for this idea to work. If I can't stand below the ground in like a proven force field design, then I know that it's just not going to work regardless of what I build down below. So I have several Chelseas up here ready to go. Get their attention, turn their AI on. What are you going to do? Are you going to bonk around a bit? Or are you going to come straight down for me? Oh. They're thinking about it. Oh, no, there it is. There it is. That is the last sign of defeat. We now know that there's nothing I can do down here that is going to protect me. So the underground base, it's a nice idea. It's probably not going to, I mean, since they're given the zombies superpower digging, I don't think it's really an option for Alpha 17 really at all. But if it is, it's just way too much effort to get it to work when there's so much easier designs, so many easier designs you could use to live above the ground. But now we know for sure that even with a magical force field, you cannot live in a cave like the sewer dweller that you want to be. So I'll have to leave that one there and come back and try some other areas. I've got more ideas, don't worry. The force field will rise again, but I'll have to do that in another episode because this episode is done. So thank you guys for watching. Most of all, thank you to the patrons of Patreon who made this episode possible. If you liked, make sure the like button down below and subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Twitter. If I don't talk to you there first, I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.